How you guys doing? I'm being a real dirtbag right now. We just got done with camp. As always, when we record these things, I just had my fight Saturday.
Show.
A couple days ago. Oh, you got the hat on. Get close. Make sure they can see that. Whoa.
Yeah, there it is. That's a good zoom right there.
Hashtag live better, baby.
Let me get the focus on there. There it is. Boom. So, yeah, man. We're only like 4 days removed from that shit.
Yep, 4 days removed. If you guys have not seen that, make sure you guys go check that out. We stayed up pretty late after my fight just to get that drop pretty much the next morning.
Diamond stayed up pretty late.
I stayed up
I was out. And it was like, it was the right after his fight. So he had fought. What did we do? We had a little, little celebration night.
Yeah.
Nothing major. Just went to the next town over. Kicked it for a little bit. Got to see a couple people that went to the show, locals.
Yeah, a couple of made some fans out there.
Yeah, so what was it? Shout out to Danny.
Yeah,
Danny.
Shout out to her and her sister that were at the fights.
Yeah. And so after that, we came back to the hotel, and then Diamond stayed up all night to put that, all the footage together from the ride up there to the weigh-ins to the actual fight, and then he dropped it on Sunday, and that's after fighting Saturday night. So, yeah, if you haven't went to the YouTube channel and watched that, shame on you. Put your head down.
We'll put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, put your head down and be ashamed of yourself, because that's a lot of work, and it was really good footage. Really candid. Like a lot of the stuff it was just in the moment. So
yeah,
we had the camera on, and a lot of stuff we were discussing, and everything that happens before the fight and after the fight, it was just there. So
yeah, after the fight, Marcus was just recording. It's like, you watch the video, you could tell I'm not even like looking at the camera. I can't even tell that he's recording. So when we were editing it, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you recorded all of that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it when someone
He
watched
was
it.
like this the whole night.
Yeah, like this. But yeah, it's good footage, and I think a lot of that stuff that was recorded is stuff you don't typically get to see.
No.
The raw emotions, the conversations, everything that's happening during and before and after. So anyhow, with all that said, check that out, man. But with that said, man, that was a freaking great trip, man. All in all, I mean,
it was good. It was actually my first win out of state, which is pretty damn cool. We ended up driving all the way out to Washington, and then for me to get one, I haven't had a win in a while. You know what I mean? It's been a minute between injuries and all kinds of other stuff. To go out there and like our first time, it was just Marcus and myself. Like none of the other team went. There wasn't a whole lot of people, or there's about one person actually from the gym that went to the fight, and he was only there because he was in Washington anyway.
For work, yeah.
Yeah, he was there for work. So it's just for Marcus and I to go out there and just drive out there and just walk out there and handle business. It's pretty damn awesome. And got my first win out of state, and then we'll get some more, man.
Hey, man, solid ass win too, man.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole lot of little things that we didn't get into the video that we're talking about that happened, that transpired while we were out there. That made things. It just adds to the drama and all the shit that's behind the scenes when fights, come together.
Yeah.
So dealing with that shit, man.
Adversity, yeah.
Yeah, adversity, yeah.
Is that it wasn't like you always kind of have these expectations that everything's gonna go smooth. But in the back of at least in the back of my mind, I'm always like, shit could go wrong. Leading up to the fight, I always think things are gonna go good while I'm in there, but like leading up to the fight, there's always a possibility of shit going wrong. But as a professional, you kind of like put your trust that the other team's gonna be professional, the promotion's gonna be professional, the people that are calling the fight, everything's gonna be professional. But usually in my case, there's always like something there's always something you got to deal with. Between people not showing up at all to people not making weight, stuff like that. And not to like shit on anybody, but that was the case this time. So we went out there, we did everything we had to do. we had our weight dialed into a specific weight before we even got to Washington, and then it was like a pound here, a pound there. Like we're fine. Like pretty much on weight the entire time we're there, and what ended up happening was waking up the day of weigh-ins. We get a call. Marcus gets a call in the morning, and he answers it, and I already knew, like instantly I knew. I was like, he's fat. This dude's fat. I was doing this while he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, what's going on? I was like, this fucking guy's fat. And sure enough, he was fat. Or
you're fat.
Yeah, he was fat.
He was, if you put it raw.
Yeah.
You know.
So our fight was supposed to be scheduled at 136 pounds. That morning I woke up, I was on weight. I don't have to do anything but wait to weigh in. And so then we're on the phone, or Marcus is pretty much on the phone handling everything. And so now that morning, the morning of weigh-ins, fight's in danger of potentially not happening. And yeah, so that's always a hindrance. So we had to pretty much figure out what we were going to do. The weight class changes, or
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
I'll let you talk about it because I'm gonna eat. Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that.
Well, that morning, you know, it's because we're out of state, right? We drove, so we left on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Fights on Saturday, we leave on Wednesday. We get to Oregon on Wednesday, stay the night. Thursday morning, we leave from Oregon to Washington. We get to Washington Thursday night.
8 hours
So,
later, yeah.
8 hours later. So we got the scale with us. You know, we made sure to have everything we needed. You know, sauna suits, scale. We even, our boy John, he had
John Boy.
He hooked us up with his mobile sauna. So it's basically like a single person sauna. You plug it into the wall, and it's infrared. It's sauna. You know what I mean? Just in case, you know, you need to cut that extra pounds. And we're traveling. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know if we're going to come across, you know, gyms that have, you know, saunas in them and all that stuff. Plus, it's just extra complicated. So we had that, but it's a matter of preparation. Like, let's take everything we need, because I had my uncle said, you know, and my big mentor, Adrian, he would always say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah.
So we went out there with everything we might need just in case we had to reserve for that. So anyhow, we're checking weight every freaking day, every stop. Yeah. Wednesday night we check weight. Diamond, oh man, you're at 130, whatever case. All right, we're cool. We got 2 days, blah, blah, blah. So we know when Diamond signed the contract was for 136. So no matter hell or high water, we were going to be 136 come Friday at the weigh-ins. And the weigh-in was scheduled for 5 p.m. Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're traveling 2 days, get to the casino in Toppenish, which is where the casino's at, where the fights happen in Washington, the reservation. And Thursday night, we're dialing in. We're on the treadmill, got sauna suit on. We get back, Diamond gets on the scale. Oh shit, man, I'm still X amount of pound off, pound plus.
Yeah. So
we plug in that sauna. He's in there sweating his ass off, doing what we got to do. I'm up. Hey man, get one more. Hey man, I'm gonna get one more. He actually decided to. And before we went to sleep that night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, this dude was on weight.
Yup.
Coincidentally, because we in a small little hotel, we happened to see our opponent in between us, you know, cutting weight and all that stuff. And, well, I say our opponent, Diamond's opponent. And we happened to be in the little gym, the casino's gym. There was a scale in there. He gets on the scale. I don't think they recognized who we were. And they say, how much are you weighing? His coach. And he's on 147.
147.
So that was 11 pounds he had to make within like an 18-hour window, because by the time that happened, it was about 9 o'clock at night. Yeah. So we kind of had an inclination like, yo, but hey, he signed a contract. He said he could make 136, shouldn't be a problem.
That's hopefully, where I was at.
Professionally, you said you can do this because you signed a contract to be at this weight come tomorrow. So that's what we're expecting. Lo and behold, we can finally get to sleep. We get up, phone rings. Whenever the phone rings hours before the weigh-in, it's usually not a good thing, especially when it's somebody from the promotion or your manager or something like that. It's usually bad, okay? So I see who's calling.
Yeah, for us it was Bailey.
Bailey.
Bailey called.
calling. Bailey don't never call with good news. It is with Bailey calling, it's something bad. Something bad happened.
Yeah, something.
You know
happened.
what I mean? Because if it's regular news or good news, it's via text.
Yeah.
If she calling you,
Yep.
shit went bad, and it went bad immediately because she got to talk to you right now. So
That's what I feel bad too. Is like when I call you or I call the guys from the team,
Yeah.
it was like, fuck. I know
You're bad.
I never call. I never call to say anything good. So when I call people, I'm like, oh man,
Yeah,
like,
I know it's fucking
this
bad.
sucks. Yep. So I'm just like, they're gonna answer the phone. They already know.
Dreading already.
Dreading.
So I'm dragging this whole shit out, but I'm trying to like paint the picture, right? So we on point. Like through hell or high water, if I was gonna have to get a hacksaw and chop off Diamond's fucking arm, we was gonna make 136 Friday.
Yep.
We had made that decision, and that's just how we do. That's how Diamond is, and that's how I like to consider myself to be.
Yeah.
So we knew that's what was going to happen, period. So when we get this call, answer the phone, lo and behold, yep, yeah, you know, blah, blah. The opponent just called the promoter. The promoter said he's not going to be able to make weight. Okay, so what are we looking at then? What does not making weight look like?
Yeah. How far off?
He's at 143. He said he can make 140. So the contract was 136. So now we have to consider allowing him to weigh in at 140, which is 4 pounds over. Now, a lot of people think that may not compete. Oh, it's just 4 pounds, not a big deal.
Yeah.
The dynamics of that are very, very extreme when you
Yes.
think about the fight game and how things work.
Yeah.
So 4 pounds doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when you consider that somebody can't make the contract to weight that extra 4 pounds to be at 136, the maximum they can cut is 140. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the likeliness for them to be able to inflate themselves back up to whatever weight they're sitting at, maybe the day before, which
Yeah.
we're assuming he's maybe like, or even 2-3 days before, 160 or whatever the case may be, is a significant amount of weight.
Right.
In addition to, Diamond has already depleted his body for days, multiple days on end, to be 136. So that's a big factor. If I can come into a fight 24 hours later, be in the cage with you, and have a 15 to 20 pound weight advantage,
Ugh.
yeah, I'll take it. And this is the thing too. If I notify you last minute, especially if we're fighting out of state, we're both looking to keep the fight on the card because we're there to make money.
That's the main thing is like when stuff goes wrong, you kind of have to deal with the fact that it's gonna be wrong if you want to fight,
Yeah.
right? And we don't go anywhere looking to not fight. We're damn sure not gonna drive 19 hours, 18 hours out of state to show up at a fight and be like,
Not
oh,
fight.
yeah, I'm not gonna fight.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. Is like, fuck, man. I remember looking at Marcus like, well, we already know I'm gonna fight, so like we're gonna accept the fight. We just got to figure out how the hell this is gonna work.
And see, the flip side of that is other teams know that too. So
Yeah.
a lot of them do it strategically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to say nothing about what this team, I'm not going to go and
Yeah.
pick at their merits or their integrity, but it's a strategy. You know what I'm saying? You got two guys that are from California. He's from Southern California. We're from SoCal. You know what I'm saying? We fly or drive all the way to Washington. They know that. Hey, man, these guys came all the way from California. They didn't come out here to decline a fight,
Right.
you know, and not come out here and get paid and have, you know, come out here and do what they're supposed to do. They've been training for months, whatever. So we're going to throw this monkey wrench at them hours before the actual weigh-in because they're more than likely going to accept these terms.
Yeah.
But strategically, they're going to accept being at a disadvantage because if I can get them to agree to me being able to come in at a heavier weight, now I'm going to be heavier when we fight. And that's going to play into my game plan to defeat my opponent. And it may cost me 20-30% of my purse. But if 20-30% of my purse ultimately means a victory, the next time I go and negotiate for a fight, I have a better record. And I can negotiate for more money because I have a better record. Because when it comes to this fight game, there's short memory. Nobody's going to say, oh, you didn't necessarily make weight last time, whatever. It comes down to records. Records and ticket sales. You know what I'm saying? If you can move tickets and the people know are going to show up because your name's on the card, that's a factor when promotions are going to pay you. and your record is a factor with promotion's going to pay you because you can require more money just based on the fact that you're a winning fighter.
Right.
So a lot of guys will do that intentionally because they know this guy's not going to say no.
Yeah.
He's going to take the fight. And yeah, it might cost me 20-30% of my purse. But in the grand scheme of things, the long game, I could pick up a win with an advantage. So anyhow,
not this time.
Yeah, not this time.
Not this time.
Unfortunately, the shit didn't actually go that way. If that was the game plan, you know what I'm saying?
Which, if you watch the fight and you see how
he was fighting, yeah,
my opponent fought,
you could assume that was probably the game plan.
You would assume he planned on being heavy.
I'm gonna be heavy. I'm gonna be on top of that. I'm gonna wear him out. I'm gonna do everything.
Because he was. It was a tough match. Dude was heavy. He was respectful while we were in there. I hope he does good in the future, and hopefully he makes weight and figures out his whole weight class and his situation and stuff. But when you're in there and you do everything right, and somebody is heavier, you do feel it. You do feel it. So I felt it. I was like, yo. I think even in the corner, Marcus is like, yo, do this, and I was like, hey, real quick, let me tell you real quick. This dude's heavy as hell, man.
I don't give a fuck.
Marcus is like, I don't give a shit, bro. I don't care. You can do this.
And I know it's a real thing because I've dealt with that same situation. Not that my guy made weight, but if a person knows how to distribute their weight, even if you weigh exactly the same at weigh-in, you know what I'm saying? That's a big factor, especially when you know they're going to be heavier than you. Yeah. So, yeah. So with all that said, dude, not taking away from the dude, because as far as our personal experience with him, he seemed like a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? Real gentleman, real respectful. I wish nothing but the best for the dude. Yeah. But when we're talking about the fight game and we're being candid objective in regards to this podcast and weight cutting and all the things that came with this fight, hey, we got to just call it what it is. Yeah. And that was a monkey wrench because we're going out there expecting each opponent, Diamond and his name's Brandon, to go out there and hit the scales without there being any issue. You signed the contract for 136. I'm expecting you to hit the scales at 136. I'm not expecting to get a call saying, hey, we can't do this. Let's figure out some negotiation 4 hours before hitting the scale. That's not necessarily going to be in your favor when we're talking about the fight itself. Yeah. Nobody wants to have that call. So, yeah, I was kind of fired up. And it was very frustrating because that's, like I said, it's not conversations you want to have hours before weigh-in. It's very frustrating, and it's very emotional. As far as my emotions was anger. Yeah, you were pissed. I was fucking pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
I was pissed too, and then I was sad, and then I was like, ah.
Because there's a real chance that the fight didn't happen if we didn't come to terms that was something that he could agree with, but we did not want the fight to happen. Right. There was like, okay, we want the fight to happen, but also we don't want to get dog walked. We don't want to get shit on. Yeah. Trying to negotiate favorably for them, that's going to not to be our benefit. Because that's nonsense. If when you're negotiating for a contract, both parties want to feel like they're winning something. Right. You win something, I win something, it's a 50-50. Right. You never want to negotiate to have the short end of a stick. Right. When you're talking about a fight contract, because
and when the contract's already being changed because
somebody couldn't keep up with their initial agreement.
You're already kind of on the back end of it.
Yeah, but see, fighters who are still trying to get themselves established in the game and kind of the regional circuit, you deal with that because ultimately the ultimate goal is to fight. So teams know that, especially seasoned teams that have veterans as coaches and all that stuff. They know, hey man, we can't make weight. We'll tell them tomorrow. Yeah. Hours before the weigh-in, what they gonna do? So they no to the fight and go home. They're not gonna say no to the fight. Yeah. And then we're gonna get them to agree to this weight, and it is what it is. And we're gonna take that advantage we're gonna get and use it in the fight and beat this guy and get the fuck on with our purse. Yeah. And that was the plan. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Didn't go that way. And Diamond went in there and handled the business, and it was very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It was very fun, honestly.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
It was fun. Like, it was fun as it was happening. I mean, more fun for me. I was in there fucking dealing with that heavy ass cat trying to figure out.
I was having fun. I had fun.
Yeah, he had fun too. You know what I mean? We're talking to each other as the fight is going on.
Yeah.
He's talking to the crowd. Crowd's into it, man. They're cheering for Diamond. They don't even know who the hell Diamond is. You know what I mean? We're Cali guys. Both guys on that fight. You know, so there was no local ties at all, but the crowd was in it.
Yeah, the crowd was awesome. Even after the fight, they were like,
Hey, man,
I'm walking out of the cage. They're like, that was fun. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So, I mean, overall, because of how things transpired, it was a very, very great experience overall. But there was monkey wrenches like there probably will always be. We'll probably have a story for September because we're on the card. We're scheduled to be on the card in September, VFS 16. But as far as this fight in Washington, fucking great performance from Diamond, man. And I was privileged to go out there with him and have those days leading up to the fight, the actual fight, and then, you know, getting to experience the victory of everything that came of the work that he put in to get that victory. So, like I said, if you ain't watched it, shame on you.
Yeah.
When this video's over, take your ass to the YouTube channel, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's like an hour long. Most of it is us acting up, just being candid. You know what I mean? Some little funny stuff, clips leading up to the actual fight.
Yeah. Don't just skip to the fight. Watch the whole thing, and then make sure you stick around after the fight too. Don't just shut it off when the fight's done, because then you'll get to see the back end of it. You'll get to see the warm-up area. You'll get to see what it's like, what you do actually after you fight. You got to go see the doctor right away. They got to check you out, make sure everything's good, and ask you some questions. And you get to see me and Marcus talk about what's going on or how we felt about the fight. And then afterwards, there's some pictures and stuff that got posted too. I don't even know if anyone saw those.
Yeah.
So they were at the very end. After it says, thanks for watching, you see some pictures. But,
real candid, man. Like, and I don't think anybody's doing that, showing that stuff. So
no,
it's pretty cool.
But yeah, with that being said, there's always going to be some sort of adversity, which was something that we talked about before even going into the ring, which was the adversity of him probably being heavy. If things don't go the way we thought, if I'm in a bad position, or if I get hit, or anything like that, or just anything, adversity in life. That shit, you know, you get that monkey wrench 4 hours before weigh-ins. There's just little things you have to deal with. I'm not saying just accepting fights and saying, oh, screw it, whatever, is the greatest idea, because there's definitely been times where we could have argued before in other fights and other promotions. We could have argued for ourselves a little bit more, but just chose, like, screw it, I want to fight. I don't want the fight to get canceled, so I'm going to fight anyway. You know, have good people around you. Luckily, I had Marcus there, because I probably would have been like, oh, screw it, yeah, 140, I don't need any extra money, I don't need this or that, and just blah, blah, blah. But I had Marcus there, and we had Bailey on the phone handling stuff, so make sure you have a team that has your best interests in mind, and know that if you are a fighter, you are the talent. You are the one that's put in the work, or you should have been the one putting in work, especially as a professional, to make your weight. Do your best to make weight because you don't want to lose money. Do your best to make weight as a man, because whatever you contracted, whatever you signed that contract, you're putting your team on the line. You're putting your name on the line. And you're saying, hey, this is what I'm going to be. This is where, you know what I mean? As a man, just kind of hold your own word and hold yourself accountable. But if that doesn't come out that way, to where the other person, you have to deal with stuff, make sure you have a good team around you. Make sure that your head is on correctly before you start answering questions and stuff. Because that morning I was just fired up. You know what I mean? But there's always going to be something. Nothing's going to go perfectly. And that's just the way it is sometimes. You know, it is what it is. Like Max Holloway says, it is what it is. But yeah, our next one's what, in September?
September 7th, VFS 16. I don't think anybody's officially contracted yet.
No, nobody's officially contracted yet.
Out of everyone so far, I think I'm the one that's pretty much a lock. Just the contract isn't signed, got an opponent, I already got the advertisements on there. If you go to the page, Beyond the Rounds Instagram, or to my personal @MarkB726Z, is up. Me and the opponent's picture.
Yeah, the fight poster. Yeah,
the fight poster. And then you can get information to go on there to get tickets. So go on there and purchase the tickets. It's going to be a good show right now. It's billed to be me, Diamond, Neto, and Colin on the cards.
Yo, let's go.
2 amateur card, and then me and Diamond are doubling up for this one, which is usually the plan when VFS has a card. It just ends up working out to where hopefully this time we can actually perform together.
Right, yeah.
It always seems to be, like we say, adversity monkey wrench, but it looks like it should come to pass this time.
Yes.
So we gearing up for that. Like I said, before we even started this thing, we had a camp. We just kind of BSing like right now because Diamond, we had like this week is supposed to kind of be.
That's why.
He just fought, so he still beat up a little bit, body wise.
Yeah.
And then this week we took Tuesday off and we got camp tonight. This is our first night back with a camp.
Yeah.
And then we just ramp it right back up. So this week is kind of like an off week, but not really. So you seen Diamond grab the damn hot
popcorn.
Flaming hot popcorn.
Let's go.
And things good too.
They are good, man.
Woo.
Ooh.
So we enjoying ourselves this week into this weekend because after this we wrap it back up to prepare for September.
Monday is right back on.
Yeah. So with that shit, I mean,
0 to 0.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, man. We gonna go in there, we gonna perform, we gonna do what we do. First and foremost, beyond the rounds representation, and then by way of Valley Fight Club.
Yeah.
So we gonna go on there and show up and show out. VFS already knows what's up.
Yeah.
I can use this platform to build a fight and be like boop 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 boop, but that's gonna come. So in the coming episodes, we'll talk about it. But you already know what we coming to do. So as the weeks come, we'll get prepped more and dialed down into it, and we'll have further conversations on it. But September 7th is next time we're going to grace a card, so you get to see us in action as opposed to sitting here eating
popcorn and shit.
Hot popcorn and shit, and having a beverage or two.
Yeah.
So I know that's where you guys get the bread and butter of your content. What you really like to see us is in the cage doing our thing.
Yep.
So coming soon.
Yeah.
And if you want to, lock in tickets now because they're available. VFS 16.
Yep. Until then, until we are back here on the channel, make sure you check out our Instagram, Beyond the Rounds. Make sure you check out Marcus's Instagram page. You can check mine out too at the official Wraith. Yeah, check us out there because we're still going to be uploading content there and posting little shorts and videos and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. This is a short episode. We just wanted to talk to y'all about since we've been back, because we came back from Washington on Wednesday. We got back, or excuse me, Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday night, yeah.
Sunday night, we got back Monday, like wee bit in the morning, and then it was just back in the camp.
3 in the morning, Monday.
Yeah, they were back on Monday night training and doing all that stuff. So we didn't want to leave y'all without content and not talk about Diamond's fight. We really just talking about the weigh-in and all that shit. The bulk of it was that Diamond went out, he showed the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? It was fun to watch, even though it was stressful because it's a fight, but it was stressful but fun because we know what he could do. You know what I'm saying? So we got to go out there in front of a Washington crowd that was super freaking receptive and opening.
Real receptive.
Like, they ain't know nothing about us. They ain't know nothing about Beyond the Rounds. They ain't, as far as they care, there's 2 California cats. Like, there's no reason to cheer for us or really be excited. But it took maybe half of the first round for them to buy in and get behind Diamond, and I felt the energy in the crowd. You could hear it in the fight.
Yeah.
People calling out the Diamond to throw elbows, to freaking do this, do that. They're laughing. They're having a good time.
You can do it.
And by the time we walked out, by the time Diamond was walking out of the cage, man, I could feel that, hey, we had some fans, man. And that was a beautiful thing, especially 2 states over with people that knew nothing about us before we showed up. But they wanted, to be a part of that experience with us by the time the fight was over. So it was good shit, man. And Diamond put it all together, because without that performance, it's not as sweet as an experience. So that was him doing that and really winning over that crowd and bringing back a win to Valley Fight Club and Beyond the Rounds to the brand. So shit, man, I was super stoked for it because I got to sit there kind of as a fan. I just had like a cage side seat, to be honest.
Just talking the whole time.
Just talking. So it was good shit. So with all that said, great performance. We got to show up and show out, and come September 7th, we're gonna do the same shit again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's pretty much all I got, man.
Stay tuned, and make sure you guys go check out that last video we posted. It's called Road Trip to Victory.
Yeah.
Road Trip to Victory. Until then, peace.